There's growing momentum behind Mayor Pete Buttigieg. It's also fueling speculation that he will officially announce his candidacy for 2020 soon. The Democratic mayor of South Bend, Indiana, has been gaining popularity since he launched an exploratory committee back in January, and crowds at his event have just grown in size, from dozens to hundreds at his latest appearance in South Carolina. Buttigieg has also seen an increase in media attention after a breakout performance at a CNN town hall earlier this month. His team says that he raised about $600,000 in just 24 hours. That boost gave him enough individual contributions to qualify for a spot in the Democratic debate this summer. Associated Press political reporter Sara Burnett joins me now. She's been following his rise, and she joins me from Chicago. So, Sara, to what would you really attribute this big surge all of a sudden?
Well, I think that, Pete Buttigieg had basically nowhere to go but up. I mean, he started out as a huge long shot, and he's been catching on through lots of different small events and a little bit of media attention here and there. And then, as you mentioned, really took off after that CNN town hall, where a lot of people got to hear what he's been saying to much smaller crowds.
And what is he saying? What are the key issues he plans to run on?
He talks a lot about intergenerational justice, this idea that some people might write him off because he's a millennial mayor, but he also is someone who will live to see what happens to this globe, or this country, the whole world, with climate change in 50 years. He talks about being a member of the school shooting generation, those young people who have grown up with school shootings as a fact of life and something that they live with every day. And he's also very focused on sort of not talking about President Trump and focusing instead on issues that are important to voters in places like South Bend, Indiana, where he's the mayor.
What do you think it is about his message that might resonate most with people who are starting to really notice him?
Well, as I mentioned, he tries to keep very focused on things that are happening in everyday lives with people. I also had a lot of voters who I talked to in South Carolina who said, he comes across as very positive, calm demeanor, a very intelligent guy. He went to Harvard. He was a Rhodes Scholar, speaks 7 languages, and that they could tell that he had given a lot of thought to the issues and the things that he talks about.
So when you talk about money, we know he had that huge surge, raising $600,000 within a 24-hour period. But when you look at the other candidates who have Beto O'Rourke, folks who have raised a lot more money, Kamala Harris, can he catch up?
Well, I'm not sure about catching up. I think he would tell you that he's doing things differently, and that he believes he can at least compete, at least in these early stages in states like Iowa and New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, where he is relying more so on grassroots support and less on paid media, which will get a whole lot more expensive once the contest moves to places like California. Mm-hmm. We'll see when the numbers come out. I suspect that he has done better than what most people thought he would do when he announced this in January.
When do you think, Sara, any sense of when he might announce that he's running?
I think it'll be a few weeks yet. He's talking about doing a fair amount of hiring. He doesn't have a huge staff right now. He needs to basically double that staff. I think that will take some time. But I would expect that we will see a formal announcement sometime this spring.
Sara Burnett, I want to thank you so much for joining us, Sara.
Thank you.